Yeah, no, it was a lot happier pre-pandemic. Things have just, it seems like every time you think things are going to get a little better, they just get worse. What I have is what I would consider like mild depression. So I've been lucky to be able to manage it with, with a good support system and having just mild depression. For other people like my brother, that's it's very like that's huge. How is he to reach out? What resources are available and easy to get? It's usually these things like there's a lot of paperwork, there's a lot of links. You kind of run in circles when you go online, and so it's very difficult. I would try to go down and see him, but as he got worse, it actually made it harder because his mental health state had deteriorated so bad that it wasn't easy. He wasn't making a lot of sense anymore, and it was right on Christmas Eve. He had to get committed. He was almost in the hospital every month after that first initial visit. We struggled to get him a proper diagnosis for years. He was diagnosed at like 18 or 19 with having just cognitive disabilities. He apparently was at the age of a 12-year-old, but I had some disagreements about that. I feel like he had schizophrenia. I think for him, it was kind of like just a mad world. Like it was just crazy. He couldn't really understand why these things were happening, and to expect him to understand when he had so much going on is just crazy. So the masks and things like that, like it more so isolated him. It made things more complicated. Again, I don't think that these things were necessarily responsible for, the deterioration, but they accelerated it because, things, the social aspect was completely impacted, where it was, you were kind of expected to hide away and not get out with people. And he was already struggling to do that in the first place, so it only made it more complicated. This is why he was apprehended under the Mental Health Care Act in the first place, was they finally realized he was becoming catatonic, just kind of mumbling and he was kind of a shell. Like he thought he had all these rips all over his body and things that weren't happening. I think that he was internalizing all that stress and trying to figure out a way to make it make sense to him. Basically, that amount of stress that kind of impacts your body, you'll start to internalize. So people tend to stop drinking water. They'll actually get blood clots. Like their body is actually shutting down from the psychological stress, basically. He actually went, I think it would probably have been like a 40-minute walk, and he walked all the way up to the Smith Creek Road from the property, and he went into the woods, and we don't really know exactly what happened. So we didn't find him for 2 months. He went missing on November 8th, and then some hikers from the community, they all banded together and they went searching, and they found him. It was the community that found him. I tried calling the coroner multiple times, and he kind of had to walk me around to the sad fact and reality that there is nothing left to inquest, because it's undetermined, and it will forever stay undetermined because it's just bones and we don't have all of him. It's very awful. So we will never really know exactly. So we can only speculate, and it's very likely that it was catatonia. And that's what we kind of just have to believe. So if I could see things change, first off, when we're dealing with, on the topic of like pandemics and the way that we treat mental health needs to be a priority, and there should be no questions. I mean, at the tail end, I don't know if you've seen it, they implemented kind of a website. And again, if you have, depression or, at a milder level, you can navigate these things. But again, it's not very helpful or useful. I think that we need face-to-face group settings. We like doing the Zoom calls, and they're so impersonal. I think that we're social beings, and we need to really be together. At the end, what I'm trying to take baby steps, and what I'm trying to do is this alert system for vulnerable people, and kind of putting out as well as the exposure of how this pandemic has impacted people's mental health, because I had a hard time being there for my brother just because of my constant stress, I think everyone can agree on that. Whether you're vaccinated or not, it's been hugely stressful. Something that has bothered me is the fact that they dropped just as an example, like $1 billion federally on vaccine passport system that's supposed to be temporary. And then why not funnel that into mental health? Because it seems like that's where our crisis is.